you got the message, I think the faculty got the message.
Mm-hmm. That's why I CC'd you and Helen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you should know I can't go to Arden anymore.
Yeah, I was texting you.
She? Yeah.
It was me that was texting you too.
Well, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you said you wanted to talk, so I
That's
was
good.
like,
Okay, so am I good to
Yep.
get a couple of announcements? And then I'll let you all get to your curriculum work. All right, so real quick, hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. I wanted to share just a couple of things. The first is, if as you're planning the transition to an online environment, that you have any students who need DSPS accommodations and you need help with that, what I would suggest is you talk to the student first, see if you can work out an accommodations agreement that's consistent with their plan. If you cannot, make sure that you, or even if you can, make sure you're directing them to reach out to DSPS as well. DSPS is going online, so they will continue to provide support to students that way. If there is difficulty, bring me in and let me try to provide support to you and kind of give me a heads up so that I kind of know if there are students who are having issues and I can provide you kind of advice and support along the way. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Contact information for
Yes.
you.
So Glenn, I'm Jessica. I'm the dean. What is my number? 395. Who knows my number? Nobody does.
not off the top of my head.
Do I have a card with me?
Not usually busted, so I don't.
You know what? I just sent out an email. Are you on the listservs? All of my emails at the bottom is my signature. Okay, so that's number one. Nice to meet you, by the way. All right, number two is, if you're involved in the training, I had just told Chris, so the training for today and tomorrow is paid. As faculty, you have the option to either use this for flex credit or earn $30 an hour. So please make sure that you're signing in. Those of you who are reporting in remotely, CCB is going to get me the list and we'll make sure that we add you
And
for
you'll pay
compensation.
this even though this is a 10-hour session.
What?
Even though this is a 10-hour session.
You have to
you'll
sign
pay
in and
that.
out. And this is...
Okay, but you're taking care of that.
And I don't know, if you're physically here, sign in and out with Bill. And this is not something that I'm handling. The vice president's going to be handling this. Don't expect to be paid quickly, but that's her office, and you have complaints, complain to her, not me. I'm kidding. Complain to me if you don't go to her. The next point that I have is please be gentle with absences. I know most of our communication faculty are going to hold maybe one class next week to get your students ready. If you are holding that class and you have students who elect to not come to class, keep in mind we have a lot of students who are immunocompromised or maybe in a vulnerable group or maybe live with someone who's in a vulnerable group and they may be opting not to attend. So think about them and think about offering an alternative assignment to make up for that absence.
Now, for our 8-week classes,
I was going to ask that question.
I'm dropping out of the first day.
Yeah.
Only because I don't want to deal with all the hassle of somebody trying to come in next week when I haven't even met with them, and they're now saying,
What
I
are
don't
we
even
doing?
have a clue what's going on.
And I know that you are, and I'm guessing that most of you are sending emails out to
Yes.
your classes that are starting for the 8 week. So in that email, stress to them that they need to either attend that first class or connect with you and say, hey, and if you don't hear from them by the end of the start of your class, so if your class is at 8 to 9:35, if you don't hear from them by 9:35, you were dropping them. Go ahead and communicate that out to them. And I'm fine if that's what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay, just
What
give
is
them
the
some
latest
warning.
word on the closure? Is there a set closure day? That meeting Monday night, that's what I know, and then not Tuesday and Thursday.
Right, that's what I'm.
Yes, so the president just had an open forum, and I know you all were in training, so you didn't hear it. But what she said is we're going to keep BC open as long as we possibly can. At this point, I would, and I think that she said, and if not, I'll say it, I would expect a closure sometime early next week, based on things moving very quickly. I think if you're in a Monday class, if I had to bet on it, I think you'll probably get to hold your Monday class. If you have a Tuesday class, I'd say your chances are pretty good. Wednesday and beyond, I think you need to be preparing for not having class. That's kind of my take on it, but at the same time, what Sonia said very clearly is that she's trying to keep us open, but if the Department of Health says you need to close, then we need to close.
Right.
So that's the situation we're at, yes.
So I'm teaching an 8-week class, and I moved it fully online,
Mhm.
except I sent all the students 2 emails already that said, you have to come the first day for an orientation. and I added that to my syllabus that if you don't come, I'll drop you and I'm going to stop enrollment. That's okay. No one's going to be like, you can't do that. Cool. I just want to make sure because I've never done this before where I've been like, you have to come the first time, or usually I'm more flexible.
Right.
Yeah.
It's been standard practice, and as John just mentioned, you have the ability to drop students. I would expect. I know you all care about your students, that you use discretion here.
Okay.
All right, and if you have a consistent written policy, then
Yeah.
I've got your back. Right, I know this is tough. Right, and a lot of this will be case-by-case basis. I did have a question when I met with the people starting the 8-week last week from, I think it was Neely, about how to handle attendance. That's a question that I shared with the deans. It's something that we're kind of working through, but kind of what we're thinking is it's going to depend on the modality of your class, right? So if you are holding class via Zoom, use Zoom to track your attendance, right? If you're doing to an all-Canvas environment, then it may be more appropriate to track attendance by, are they uploading assignments just as you would if it were a standard Canvas-based online class. So there's going to have to be some, on a case-by-case basis here. And that is an issue that Bill Mosley may offer additional guidance on tomorrow in tomorrow's training.
Awesome.
So they are kind of, today is more general training, kind of what you're doing here. Tomorrow may be more particular questions that we're getting asked. So even if you're going to the training today, it may be worth your time to stop into the training tomorrow. All right. Anything else? That's all I have. Any more questions?
Not a question, but maybe a plea. John sent an email a little bit ago that said that Leslie Bonds had said that performance classes would be able to meet for a while anyway. Is that?
That's what she said.
So kind of the plea part of it is, for whatever your role is in the decision making, asked if they're willing to make an exception if they close Wednesday or next week for performance classes on a case by case in a building or something. I know that's an idea the president has mentioned previously.
Yeah, but if it's the Department of Health telling us to shut down, I don't think they're going to give us that kind of leeway. I
They're
will.
not
I
gonna
will communicate that option out, but
I understand that, but the Department of Health will have a strong recommendation to close. That's not a you must close. They're just not going to do that.
No, all Leslie was saying was that welding is meeting, lab-based classes are meeting, dance is meeting. So, I mean,
Theater.
and they know that a bunch of com classes are meeting.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I
mean,
understand that.
yeah,
I'm just saying, in case of a closure, is there a way to carve out or is that just off the table and just when they're not going to consider that?
The way the president phrased it, I think, is the right way to think about it, right? So even as we're transitioning as many classes as we can online, in this kind of rollout, that's voluntary. We don't know. I don't know what I'm not sure that your interpretation of what the Department of Public Health is going to tell us is accurate.
Well, I'm not either, but
Right. So
what they've done before
they-
is say, our recommendation is this, they're not, stay in your homes or we'll shoot you.
let's say you're right. But then keep in mind what I just said about the absence policies, that even while you may be holding your physical classes, you got to make accommodations for students who opt to not attend.
Fair enough.
Is that fair?
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? All right.
Super helpful.
Now, thank you all so much. I'm keeping in touch with Helen. I'm trying to not duplicate communications to her. So, kind of she and I are talking. She's sending the big emails. I will send a reminder about academic technology to make sure anybody who doesn't know knows that you have the option to be paid flex. Please share that out with your colleagues. If there is a closure, my office remains open. Renee and I will be working remotely. We will be contacting everybody. So I think the final message is just please make sure you're checking your mail. Because I've had to literally hunt down and call some of our adjuncts 4 or 5 times over the last 4 days to try to get them to let me know what's going on. Right? Because we're making sure no section slips through the cracks. All of our students will have their option to continue their education.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. That wasn't on the agenda, but it was awesome.
Well, I guess I should take him with. Come on, buddy.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the agenda. I'm going to treat this session like a class. This is what I'm going to do with my class when I get to that stage. Before we met with class, on the first day of my argument classes, I'm going to break them into groups, and I'll go down to my agenda, but I asked everyone to join a group. Make sure you check that list and that you are assigned in a group. This is a live Google Sheets document. Anyone has the ability to edit it that has the link. So everyone here added their names. That looks great. Let's go back to our agenda. Okay, so I sent you some examples. There are also live links here. The first, can someone close the door? So the first, this is my favorite set of videos. Oh, is it closed? He's just loud. This is my favorite set of videos that I watched. And I just want to show you a couple seconds of this link.
In the early 2000s, I spent way too much time on a debate-specific message board called Net Benefits. Back then, video on the web was still a new idea, and things like Skype were temperamental at best. On several occasions, debate friends from other colleges and I attempted to have some online debates between tournaments. This endeavor almost always failed, even when we were accessing the internet from our fast.
So I'm going to pause it for a second. It's doing it in another language, the closed captions.
Yeah.
I need to fix that. Well, I'm not going to fix it right now because we're going to talk through it. But what I wanted to show you from this debate, he does talk pretty fast. He's a debater, a seated debater. But it not only talks about the structure of the debate, but how to use Zoom from the student perspective for the debate in the same way that we're going to do in class today. So IPDA debate, for those who don't know, International Public Debate Association. To me, it's kind of like impromptu meets Parley. Pretty straightforward and easy limited prep debate. So in your agenda and also in our resource page is the link that shows you how to do all of that step by step. Immediately after that is an email reminder. Again, this is a live document that you can follow of the email that I send my students the day before we do debates. It's a long email. I apologize. It's comprehensive. I go over everything from, don't forget, we have a module about how to log into Confer Zoom, to consider where you're sitting and make sure there's enough light, to I do all of my who's going to debate on which day as a sign-up sheet online. And all of that is in here, including what I expect from the audience. And in my debate classes, both face-to-face and the online I'll be doing this semester, I have very high expectations for the audience. So that means today in the class, we have a couple people who volunteered to practice doing IPDA debate. But we will also have the audience actively participating during that moment. So, those are just best practices. Here's a copy of a video you can either show in class or embed on Canvas or do both. An email reminder with step-by-step instructions for make sure you're signed up. The next thing I wanted to remind folks, have a backup plan. And I talked about this in the public speaking training that we did as well, but I think that it's important that you have at least looked at what the backup option could be. So I've talked to a lot of debate teachers across the state over the last 2 days. It's actually really cool. Not since I was assistant coach and going to tournaments every weekend have I been chatting with so many people about debate. I'm really enjoying it. Some people have the students record their position on the topic and upload their AF and their NAG to discussion boards, and then everyone in the class discusses on that topic under the videos, and they're in direct opposition. There's not a lot of clash because they get recorded separately. So it's almost like dueling persuasives, which is a form of debate, and it's a backup plan, right? I mean, that's not debate the way we teach it, but it's an option. Another option is if you don't use Canvas, you could use Flipgrid, which is a free video uploading service. I'm going to be honest, I don't love Flipgrid. I used it last semester for the students to upload their rebuttal redos. And once the student uploads the video, it disappears for them. So I can see it, but they can't see it. So that's what I don't like, because the students were like, did it work? Did it not work? I don't know. But just think about if Canvas explodes, or Zoom isn't working, what is your backup option? The last thing that's super important, whoever just came on, I'll do it. Sorry, I'm logging in, muting everyone. And then whoever just logged in also as 274, please.
That's me.
John.
Hey, Gertz.
So mute your volume.
I can't, I don't know how. This is a brand new computer.
Let me put a
You got
virus
it?
on it.
Yeah.
Put a virus on it.
No, there should be in the top a shortcut button.
Yeah, on the-
That's, there we go. That's mute and unmute. It starts muted, but there we go. It gives you a message that says you're muted. And
Thank
if
you.
you-
Yeah, we can see it crossed out.
Yep,
She
and
does that. The
yep,
host can
and
mute.
so, but he also needs to mute the volume on his computer.
Thank you.
It's better.
Okay, so that you had a full screen. You probably want to not go full screen.
This is so
So
good.
you can
I'm
access.
telling you, all this little
It helps.
volume on the computer.
And for those of you who are watching this, the reverb that you're hearing is because there are multiple microphones of my voice in the same room.
Thank you.
So if we're self-isolating in different rooms, you won't hear that. Thank you for that so much, you guys, for your patience. So the last thing I want to mention is I'm meeting with my students on Monday before I go fully online, and I'm doing mandatory support groups. I do this when I teach face-to-face as well. I force them into study groups. Whether they stay in those study groups or not is up to them, but it just keeps them segmented. On the first day of class, I'm going to ask them to, either start a group chat or decide if they're going to email each other or come up with a plan and come up with some kind of fun name. So remember, I emailed you. I chose our names for us just to kind of keep it lighthearted. Since there's a shortage of toilet paper, I decided we'd be Charmin, Angel Soft, and Kirkland Signature today. And those are our group names. But, like one time I told the students, pick a name that's like a professional wrestler's name, or pick a My Little Pony name, or pick a name of a location that you like. So,
We were debating about toilet paper.
no, you're not debating about toilet paper. They're just fun names. So why should you do these support groups? Well, it encourages, like I said, the group chat for them to have you can make them a workspace in Canvas where they can discuss privately without you. My students actually work together on some of the anchoring assignments that I assign out of the book, which I encourage. Crowdsource that, work it out together, just turn in your own work. I also use those specific groups for breakout sessions when we're doing prep for IPDA, which you'll see in a second. And it makes it easy when I'm like, all right, you each have to fill out a ballot on one of the debates today. Instead of it being random, I say, okay, for round 1, Charmin is going to be the judges. For round 2, Angel Soft are going to be the judges, and fill out the ballot so they know which one got assigned to which. Okay, so in my classes, just like we did in the start of this class, getting people's mics working, muting people, teaching people to call in, there's some troubleshooting stuff that has to happen. Make sure you give yourself a little window for that at the beginning. And then I do a quick reminder about the times for the debates. So we're going to be doing IPDA debate, and so there are 4-minute constructives with 1 minute swell, a 4-minute AF constructive, 1 minute cross-ex, and then we have our rebuttals. The AF gets 2 rebuttals, the NAG gets 1. So the NAG speeches are a little longer. They get a 5-minute constructive, and they get a 4-minute rebuttal because they only speak twice, not 3 times. Now I'm going over this kind of quickly, but when I started this workshop, I directed you to a video that said IPDA and Zoom. All of this is gone over in more detail in that video. So I'm not going to spend time going over it now. Also, all of you in this session already know how to debate. So no matter what format, I know you can jive with it. But I go over with the students a reminder. So the next thing we're going to do is choose the topic for this debate. Like I said, IPDA is kind of like impromptu. There are multiple topics. And here's what we do. So we have 2 people that chose to be, and they're in the room with me, so they're not actually going to video chat out. They're going to tell me in the room. It goes back and forth. Whoever wants to strike a topic first, the other person gets to choose their position. So is there one of these topics you definitely don't want to talk about? John or Corsock?
Number 5.
All right,
I
so
love John Wayne, but what the hell?
Corsock is going to strike.
I don't have that.
We're going to
Denied.
strike this one. I can't find my strike through on here. Let's just delete it. Okay, that means John, you're next. Which one do you want to strike? So which one do you not want to debate?
3.
All right, Corsac, delete another one.
Can number 4.
And John, delete another one.
I don't care. I'm just referring.
All right, Corsac, do you have a preference?
Let's make it number 1.
All right. Okay, so they're going to be debating number 1, and the way that this format of debate, it's like Parley, you get 20 minutes to prep. Now this is tricky in an online space, right? So I have a plan for that, and that's what we're going to do next. During this 20 minutes, I will help the debaters in our open Zoom session right here. I will help them prep. I'm not actually going to help them prep. They're going to be fine. But while I'm helping them prep, I'm going to send everyone else to a breakout room. Now I'm recording this, so you can't see right now, but you will see. And let's see here. So who was? There was Kirkland, Brand, and there was Charmin. And I could save these for later. Who was in Kirkland?
Both of us.
Oh, well, you
And
don't.
Glenn.
And Glenn. Okay, so Glenn's in the room. So I'm going to put everyone else in this room.
Kirkland. That's the brand for Costco for toilet paper. The 3 of us were.
Your funny group name, that's
Oh,
all.
that's
Just
okay.
your funny group.
It's just your funny group name.
Yep.
I'm sorry, not everyone gets my
Humor.
Okay, so I put Michael and John in rooms even though they're debating, just so they can experience this, because I want to explain exactly what
And so we hit the join button.
you hit the join button, and so you'll go into rooms.
On the phone, I'm not getting anything.
You should get a little alert pop up for you. Oh, because you're just connected to the phone with audio? So you have to go over to this computer right here to click yes.
So will this work for students if they're just on their phone?
Yep. But the difference with Fabiola is she's not connected to the Zoom from her phone. She is connected just to the audio from her phone. So in the breakout rooms, please discuss the pros and cons of this particular topic.
So I'm in this breakout room, I'm not getting anything.
Can you see any other people? Oh, because Michael hasn't joined.
I'm at the joining Kirkland Brand. It might take a few moments.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in a room with Fabiola and Michael Phillips.
Are you? Okay, what am I supposed to do?
Nothing, you're in the room now.
It looks like I'm in the room.
You're in the room.
Okay.
Now from inside the room, I would keep your microphone muted, and I'm going to mute myself in just, but before I unmute you guys so you can talk to each other. Please discuss the pros
So if not every student is in the breakout room, then no one can see it?
If they're not
You
in-
should see it.
No, but the question is, I mean, if we've got 10 students in a breakout room and only 9 are there, does the breakout room not form? Or
No, it'll still form.
It'll still-
The problem is with John's breakout room right now, only one person was in the breakout room.
Okay.
And so because no one was in the breakout room, nothing was appearing because you were a solo person in the room. You would have to wait till at least one other person appeared.
Okay.
But if like there were 10 people in the breakout room and 9 already appeared, the 9 would still see each other. So here's what, are you getting broadcasts from me? Or are you getting notes from me in your breakout room?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're getting them in here.
I am. But I'm looking at the,
So it just popped up. Chris Cruz Boone to everyone, a form. I want you to click on that form.
It doesn't click.
You might have to cut and paste it because it's a
It
message.
doesn't cut and paste.
yeah.
Okay, let me chat room it.
I'll come back and help you, but I'm having trouble.
No, that's okay. That's why we're doing it.
Yep, okay.
Let me go back to Zoom. chat. Everyone. There we go. So can you see the chat room pop up?
Uh-huh. Yep. Says you are viewing Michael Phillips' screen.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
Mm-hmm. So everyone's not going to fill out this form. Michael's got the form open. She's saying which group she's in. Is anyone missing from your group? If they are, you say who they are. This is the first round. It's the 1A. She's typing it up. Now, in this room, they've got 20 minutes to talk to each other. And they're supposed to pick one person to fill out this form. What did they talk about? Why are two reasons this resolution is a good idea? What are two reasons the resolution is a bad idea? So while I'm meeting with the debaters and telling them, you know, what is your 1AC going to be? What is your 1NC going to be? They're in a breakout room talking about what they would say about the resolution.
How am I supposed to be talking to her though?
So I'm going to mute myself.
No, this computer's struggling and dying.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
I'm coming.
I brought the chat for everybody, okay.
But I'm chatting as well. Oh, you're chatting in your meeting.
Yeah.
So there should be like a circle that's kind of flashing orange usually. So are you different? That's okay. So chat right here. Is this one here? Chat. This is good to know because I need to send everyone the link before. The link is also in the chat. It's also not here.
So Chris, are you sending her stuff?
I'm sending you stuff too.
This is weird. Their
Yeah,
breakout room is
that
working,
pop-up.
but yours
I
isn't.
wanna see what she- I only get this.
It just hung on. I was in the meeting, I was just fine.
I need to be on my own.
I got that, you're going to a breakout room
I can
and then.
see that you posted.
And then it just kicks you out.
I think that's what.
On the phone.
If you wanna hop over to
That's
the
how the
here,
computer's
you're
Because
welcome to.
Well, I'm
when
just trying to
I
figure out
used
if
closed
I was
caption
just
and
on
I
the
was
phone.
trying to type my words as I talked, it kept kicking me out.
All right,
So I don't use it anymore.
this is like a 7-year-old computer.
Okay, that's
but
what was my next question.
Yeah, it's old, but I'm thinking, we're gonna have students with even worse tech.
You are, and people are also going to be using phones.
And that's
So-
where I'm at, I don't get anything.
Well, no, but this is.
Screen to pop up, I can see on hers, but I'm just looking at what you have.
Okay, so this is a really good moment.
It's scary.
So Michael Phillips already did the homework assignment for her group. She's so the person you want in your group.
Yeah.
She's on it, man. She's like, all right, here's what our group talked about. But this is also important because I'm going to set my students up.
Okay,
I'm going to set my students up on day one where their groups are already formed and they're able to do group chat through text message or they're messaging each other through Instagram. However it is they normally communicate with people in their lives, I'm going to have them work with their group. So even if they're having trouble with the Zoom breakout, which I haven't had this much trouble with the breakout yet. We did breakouts this morning with public speaking, no problem, and there were more people in that room. So I haven't had this much trouble. When I was talking to someone else who uses this form, he said, usually he does 20 minutes for prep time once they get it solid working, but the first time, the groups get like 30, 40 minutes to meet because, oh, you're back in, good.
So Chris, this is running 2 instances of Zoom for some reason, because I was hearing you speak, but it's still not showing me anything.
Glenn, were you able to see any of their pop-ups?
He
through
can
your phone?
hear though.
No,
Yeah.
I
through my phone,
connected with the audio easily.
But not
through
with
the
the
phone.
chat, right? Yeah. You know, compromise. Boy,
Not working. I am in the breakout room. I don't see anything, but I'm in the breakout.
So you're the only one in there now. They logged
Yeah,
out
I
of
just
it.
got out, but that's all I had.
Okay, so the reason I'm not seeing anything is because John just left.
Yeah, so everyone just left the breakout room while you finally got there.
Okay,
I'm back in and there's nothing there.
still nothing, and you are back in the room?
So this is really good because I know we were thinking about using the breakout rooms for their own mini debates. And that's what I was going to do on Monday. But if it's this cumbersome, it's something we'll have to think about. Like to have a backup plan.
No, I mean, that's a third of the reason I'm here. I thought that was such a brilliant idea that if we could
Yeah.
form out breakout rooms,
Mhm.
hold a debate in there,
Right.
add 4 or
Right.
5 non-debating students they can judge. I know you've done that before, to have the students judge and comment for feedback. That's a game changer in how I
Well,
would teach the class too.
So when I talked to someone who teaches this class fully online, he's the one who gave me this idea about the form. He said he sent them to do debates and then he would pop into the rooms and they'd all just be talking to each other about the topic. So that's why he started making them have these conversations and then send a report back of what they talked about. And so it's because that for 2 reasons. One, people weren't actually, when he tried to hold them accountable, people weren't actually doing the debates in the breakout rooms. They were just saying they did.
Yeah.
And the second thing was,
But I mean, we can pop in as a host, right?
absolutely, yeah. And that's what he did. But then when you catch them, do you have a whole nother day where you schedule these all over again?
No, they get us.
No, that's a good idea. But the other reason, so the first reason was, lack of accountability issues. But the second reason was what I was saying. This is a form that I can email to them ahead of time, that I emailed to you ahead of time. I sent it to them in the breakout room, but it's also in your email. It's also on Canvas. Like this form is not hiding anywhere, and it will be the same form every single time.
No, I mean, I wrote that down. Group's already formed. I think that's
Well, the group's already formed, but also the form that I was sending to Michael to fill out. Michael, can you open that form again on your screen?
Oh, right, the one they use in their breakout rooms.
Yes.
It's like ballots.
So let's say like 3 people got kicked out of Zoom. They could still be texting the rest of their group and saying like, here's what I think about that resolution.
Okay.
So how did you even form the group?
How did I do it?
Randomly pick
No,
up.
not that. I mean, how do you create a group?
The actual physical part of confer Zoom to make breakout rooms.
So I don't want to talk too much about that because I recorded 2 videos on how to do it. And this video will show you step-by-step instructions. Because I'm recording my screen, I'm not recording our Zoom session. I'm recording my screen and what I'm doing to get to different places. So you'll be able to see it after the fact. But the short answer is, when you're a host, you click the button that says breakouts.
I tried that on this and I'm having the same problem.
So right now, you're not a host.
No, when I created my own Zoom conference yesterday,
Yeah.
I tried to create a breakout room, and it's just not doing it.
Oh, I'm worried it's the addition of the Zoom on your computer needs to be updated.
It's brand new. I
No.
just put it in yesterday.
Oh, the Zoom you did?
The plugin for Zoom just got put in.
Yeah.
And then what about you already got registered for Confer Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that shouldn't be a problem. That's weird. So let's make a time to meet, just the 2 of us, over Confer Zoom, and we'll practice it.
Okay.
Also, unless it's been canceled, Monday at 4:10, we've got the tech team coming in to talk
Yeah.
to the whole
Oh,
department.
yeah,
In the
yeah,
afternoon.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, I mean, I have found breakout rooms very intuitive, but like I said, I would like to have a backup plan that even if things don't work out, I could be on a Skype call with the 2 people who are debating and just tell people, text out, like, here's the topic for this first group. Confer with your group and fill out your form. Like, I could do that. It's not ideal. I'd rather be doing it in real time in Zoom. But it's not a bad idea. So I like the form, and I like the...
Wait till you're doing this.
I did that.
She managed to get that in there.
I like the groups being formed ahead of time. I'm going to close all the rooms. When I close them, you have 60 seconds to leave. If you look up here on the screen in our room, you'll see that everyone got a warning. So you can see this group, they were successful. They were chatting. They were able to open the form. They were able to see everything. So it does, and they weren't using audio. They did it all nonverbal. Right there in the right-hand corner of the screen, in red print, it will say leave the breakout room, and that's how you leave.
Do you want me to press that?
Please.
I won't mess it up.
Nope.
Nope.
Just return to the main session.
Got me out of old Zoom.
I'm sorry, say that again?
That just got me out of old Zoom.
It shouldn't. If you clicked leave meeting, that would take you out of Zoom.
Oh.
If you click leave breakout, then it will take you back to the main Zoom. So Michael, you're the only one we're waiting on.
Yeah, well, Gert's sending me the drawing of hay, crashed my computer, and now I got it. Damn it, Gert.
It's really bad when your computer can't take a single sign. So I'm going to share the screen again.
I think that's what I'm doing once we leave. I'm gonna order a new laptop. I've can run 3 small countries from my desktop at home. I mean, this thing.
But you'll have your desktop at home.
No, that's true.
So after we do the 20-minute prep, and like I said, during the 20-minute prep, the people who are debating, they don't accept my breakout room invitation. They stay in the main room. They have me right there in front of them. So the next thing I do is I say, okay, Charmin, you're going to be in charge of judging this round. So for each of you, I would like you to see the little chat that's orange and flashing. That's what it should look like. When you click on that chat, would you double click that for me? Oh, just click it, and then that link will open. And so I also created a separate form that's just like the form that we were just looking at. That allows people to, it's a ballot. It's just a virtual ballot. That's all it is. I don't have to explain ballots to the people in this room.
Nope.
Y'all know what ballots are.
All about balance.
It's very, very simple. You put your name, the round number. I'm doing, we'll have 3 days of speeches or of debates, and then I'll do A, B, C, D down the day. So I'll tell them, what round it is clearly, what the date is, what time it is, who is the AF speaker, and then it's just a rubric.
Now, even though we're in the main Zoom room, when we open the form, it won't compromise.
Nope. Because you don't have control. So Chris's question was, what happens if I open this form right now? Will it mess up Zoom? 20 people, 50 people could open this form at the same time, and it would open differently for each of them as different users. And you don't have control of the screen, so it's not going to show for you. So this is another thing. While the debates are happening, there are 2 things that I want the students watching live to do. The first is they could be a judge. The second is, and I'm absolutely doing this, several people on Facebook where there's a pandemic communication professors crisis group.
I'm an admin.
Yeah, and Chris is an admin for it. And they were saying they all, in their virtual classes, tell the students to use a pen and paper and write flows. So I have a couple good videos about how to do flows. But then they just take a picture with their phone and upload it on Canvas. They can do it through the Canvas app in 10 seconds. It's super easy. And so for each day of presentations, I tell them to upload. You pick which 2 you want to upload, but just don't forget to take a picture. Now, at the beginning of this presentation, I showed you a video. We didn't watch the whole thing, but how to do IPDA debate in Zoom. All the instructions are there. In that video, he talks about doing an online ballot, taking a picture and uploading your flow. He reminds them 3 times, make sure to take a picture and upload your flow when you're done. Here's how you do that. Don't forget. In my email that I wrote as a reminder on the days we're going to do debates virtually, I say, don't forget to have multiple pens if you like them that write well, and some paper, and to take a picture of your flow. So that's another tip. We have the form for brainstorming for those who are not debating that session that they'll submit as a group. We have the ballot that I do again thematically, group by group, like this group will be doing it this day, this group will be doing it this day. And then we have uploading through Canvas a picture of our flows.
Okay, so rather than relying on, I looked at the video, I saw the video, I remember never voting for that guy. But instead of that, or trying to remember all that, why not just make it an assignment, right? From the beginning to the end, set up an assignment, like I have flow paper, I have my supplies, I watched the debate, yes, I filled out a ballot, but all of that, like as an assignment with 10 points or something fairly negligible, but that they have to submit, right, or that that's a quiz or something like that through Canvas.
So it's a good question because
Right.
that's what I do face to face. Like I have a packet, I gave it to y'all this summer. Like I do this face to face. You can absolutely do that. I like Google Forms. I like the way they populate. It means that I have to look what happened in Google and then put it into Canvas myself. But I like it better because they can all fill out the same form from the same link, and they don't have to, like, I can text it to them through Remind. Like for me, it's a better format.
Okay.
But there's no reason why you couldn't do exactly what this is as a Canvas assignment. And my uploading the flows will be a 2-point Canvas assignment.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a tiny little assignment worth points, but it's like take that picture, upload it. Those puppies are worth 2 points each flow. I like the videos. I never debated that guy, but I like the videos.
Roland Petrello is in that Facebook group, and I thought, wow, Roland Petrello is in that.
Yeah.
Jackass that guy.
So I am recording this. Maybe we could stop slandering our peers.
Hey, Petrello, if you're watching this, you're a jackass. I'm sorry.
You're making me blush. So, again, this is all stuff that I do face to face that I was just trying to find a way to do it in the digital environment that made it as simple is the wrong word because it's really complicated. But I still wanted them to have the experience of all these levels. And what I'm struggling with is and I'm sure lots of people are struggling with this, I spent a lot of time building my whole class around getting the students to go out into the community or watch debates online of what's going on with NDA. And I can't do any of that. And so I had to completely flip modalities and say, how could they still have a meaningful experience on multiple levels? And we know that them judging gives them a different experience than them actually debating. And that them working with people and talking in small groups in the class about hypothetical topics is something nothing else gives them. So I wanted to replicate as much of that as I could. I don't expect that everyone's just going to pick this up and do exactly what I'm doing, but I wanted to give you an overview of all the little things that I'm doing in my class. And I'm really appreciating that stuff is not going well with technology because I think that's real world. I think that's the kind of stuff our students will face. So we're almost out of time, and I was going to have us do a little mini debate, but I'm not going to because there's still a couple more things I want to mention just about resources. So I also included, and everything I've linked to, all these hyperlinks that I've created, all of them were in your agenda that I sent to you this morning at 8 a.m. So you have it all already. So everything I've opened, everything is public to you. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Darn it. Where's my forms? Okay, so here's, when students do the group discussion, it automatically sends the responses into a little response sheet that you can download as an Excel form. But I also have a really cool, oops, that's not what I want to do. I also have a really cool plugin. I just want to show you really quick because I was really happy with it. Come on. Everything is going so slow this morning. So, I know everybody is on the system.
Well, it's going to be worse next week. Matt.
Yeah.
I know, but I teach at 7 in the morning, so I think it's going to be a huge blessing that I teach at 7 because I don't think the system's going to be flooded at 7 in the morning. I know, at 10 a.m.
I'm gonna have 11:30 and
Depending on how many East Coast
9:30.
and Midwest schools are
Oh,
on,
that's
it would be
true.
a couple
true.
That's true. Here I was
East Coast
feeling
and
all
Midwest
good.
schools.
3 hours ahead. Yep. 7.
R7 is the East Coast. and-
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think all of the tech companies are gonna be well aware of all this, and I'm sure they're.
But I mean, even my Google's going slow. I know it's going slow because I'm sharing in Zoom, but it doesn't usually go this slow. But I just wanted to show you that for my forms, I did also, come on. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, while that's happening, is there any particular way to set up a team debate in Confer Zoom that's live, as opposed to breakout rooms, which I think are terrific, but I see those as practice debates, and so I don't have practice debates, but I'm going to have practice debates because this is easy. I think if we can get it going, breakout rooms where 2 people debate or 4 people debate, and I add 4 people to watch and fill out a ballot or something, and I pop in to make sure they're doing it. But I still want to keep the format of it for at least the team debates, maybe the one-on-one debate live, where I get to see and they're zooming in. Is there any particular capability within Zoom that can help us out that way?
I'm using this Confer Zoom that we're using right now. You can have just the 2 screens highlighted. There's like 3 dots. So when you choose the 3 dots, you can spotlight a video, and that person will be more prominently displayed. You can spotlight 2 people, so both of those people will be more prominently displayed, and those 2 people can just debate.
Prominently displayed means what? Did they just get bigger parts of the screen, or? I mean, I understand getting focus.
Yes, but that's what it means.
Okay,
But
and
that-
have 2 people have the focus at once?
So whoever is talking will get the big focus that
Yeah.
is spotlighted.
Okay. And
Does that make sense?
And it moves quick, it does, and it moves quick enough for cross-X, for like a cross-X exchange can happen pretty quickly, it'll switch from person to person?
It's a good question. So Michael, will you unmute and ask me some questions?
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm not doing great, Michael. I'm getting Corsac's testing my damn nerve.
I noticed that, but it's yeah. So this is my cross-X. So I can't tell whether or not it's switching. It didn't switch at all for me, but
It
I don't
didn't
know if it's
switch.
just.
It did switch.
No, it
It switched
didn't.
now.
It only switched because I switched it.
Okay, oh,
I
Okay.
manually switched it.
Another really practical answer is, since we're only being told not to meet in large groups, just go meet at a coffee shop with your debate team.
yeah.
I mean, I can't do that, but
Why?
because I'm a high risk group and I also care for my grandparents who are a very, very high risk group, and I don't want contact. I'm going fully online by
That's
choice.
possible, but you'll have no protection. If something happens in the coffee shop,
Yep.
anything at all, having the lawsuit is directly on you, and the district will say, we got nothing to do with this, and suddenly you're in trouble.
Okay.
Listen,
I'm
there's
nervous enough when I see ex-students at the Best Buy. You know, or
So,
agencies.
listen, I mean, there's some problems with doing team debates in this virtual space as well, because, people can't collaborate during the debate the way a team needs to collaborate. And it's a whole nother level of challenges unless the 2 people on the team are physically in the same place and they're sharing the camera, then they can't actually meaningfully collaborate for the digital debate and help each other. So that's the big, I decided I'm just doing one-on-one debates.
The chat just to an individual person.
Yeah, you
allows
can
them
do
at
that.
least to do that much collaboration.
But are you
So
gonna-
if we're a team, even though we can't directly do that, we can chat to each other
Yeah,
and only have that seen.
however, you also need to account for lag.
Right.
I mean, right
That's what I
now,
was
one
gonna
of the
say.
things that I'm experiencing is
because I'm having to use a Bluetooth keyboard in place of the one I have. It's creating
lag for me in this training session. Even with the chat, there's things, for example, when we were in breakout groups, there are things that I was talking to Michael, that because the lag wasn't getting to her, and she wasn't able to get some of the things that So we need to account for that possibility that the individual chat may not be the best thing if there's a lot of discussion times maybe.
Chris, have you tested cross-ex before on this, or is it just, man, I'm not gonna get on cross-ex?
No, you shouldn't.
So,
I mean, I think I don't like spotlight. Like, I feel like my face is just so big. Sorry. I like it better when there's like 4 squares, you know, and we can see the gallery view where we can see more people. Like, I like that setup a little bit more. Whoever's talking is still bigger, but I like my computer to look, you know, anywho.
Right, well, one thing with everybody on there too, one of the things I have noticed is that whomever is talking, a little yellow light goes on
their screen time, like I'm doing right now, I think on Chris's computer.
You just froze on mine too.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the green, or is that yellow?
It's a greenish yellow. So I've had some pretty heated conversations, and in my Stanford fellowship, like we meet as a big group of all like 15 of us, and then we do breakout sessions, and we talk back and forth, and we've never had the problems like we're having in this room today.
Okay.
So, I mean, for me, like I wasn't nervous about it, because I mean, I've had some technology issues where I had to call into my phone, but then the calling them in on my phone was a workaround that was fine.
This is interesting. On top of each person, and I can do this with everybody too, I can pin the video. If I'm watching, I can just go back and forth and cross-ex. I got 2 totally different screens. I can pin, so.
No, I know what you mean from that controls, but that won't be what everybody sees. You're just controlling your view.
I'm just sitting here watching the debate. I don't care if my students see the cross-ex the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it so I can see it as best as possible, and that at least allows me to go back and forth between the screens very rapidly.
Okay.
That's one.
But
Okay,
on,
but every student could do that too.
Yeah.
but on the issue, it's also that no one has said, I know we talked about lag, but there are going to be students that just get kicked out. And if you're in a team situation, do you redo the whole debate? Do you pause where you are? It amplifies any complication. The variables of 4 people versus 2
I mean, one
are
thing
tough.
is that they all have to submit their briefs ahead of time.
Of course.
And the only time the timeout would be a problem really is going to be in rebuttals. Because we've already got their argument. They're not going to veer off their argument that much.
Right.
Cross-ex would be a problem, but if push comes to shove, at least we've got their arguments, and we can go back and say, I've got your brief. These are the things you're going to say.
Yeah, I just don't do it that way.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Right.
with technology, if I'm really concerned about, they get kicked off, I've at least got.
No, I know that, but that, at least from my view, that's not a good solution, just because I want them to learn Flash, right, and be directly
Amen,
responsive to
hallelujah.
their opponents, so I don't
Right.
reflect negative briefs.
I don't either.
So,
I'm just saying that with this, at least if the internet went down, I've still got their responses. The debate can continue. Everybody, all the debaters have all the responses. If that person's, computer went down, I still know what their responses are going to be because they just submitted them right now. They submitted them live. It was like, okay, that's what the person was going to say.
but, yeah. So, Chris, if I understood you correctly, all right, and I don't doubt that that's a possibility. You think what's happening here is just the BC net is being overridden by tons of this happening here locally.
Yeah,
Right,
but
and
it
so
doesn't
you've
matter.
gotta-
It could still, there's going to be kids logging in from phones and not computers, which creates a whole other layer of issues. And so, I don't know. I think, there are going to be people logging in from their 5G instead of from Wi-Fi. Like, all of those things will be compounding factors. And so I'm really, I really wanted to try and do a limited prep debate like this IPDA. But now I'm going back to maybe I'll just do my fully preparation debate and then have them record their rebuttal redos and upload them to Kavin discussion. That was my backup plan was, do the one-on-one prepared debate live and then have them do a rebuttal redo and I record the sessions. So they're recorded, they can go back and watch it. And then after they go back and watch it, they can redefine the clash. They can impact their arguments. It can be more meaningful, at least through the rebuttal. I know that's not a great solution either, but for me, that gets them to where I want them to be as far as getting the big picture, doing the impact analysis, doing the clash.
Is there an alternative possibility, like the first assignment, and everyone's in a different place. For me, for my classes, we're coming up on the one-on-one debates are about to start, right? And so we're meeting in person, first time, and I'm telling them this might come to an end, who knows, right? Just be ready. But we're about to start that. Is it possible, and I might be able to do this, to have one pre-recorded speech, right, as the affirmative for this next assignment, and then have everybody else just respond to it?
That's what some people are, that's what I was saying at the beginning. Some people do that with discussion boards.
Okay.
So they have them load the video of their speech onto discussion boards, and then everybody has to respond to it. A lot of places do that. Like a lot of people like that as an option because it gets rid of all the variable of the real time.
That might be, all right, so you said have a backup, I'll take that to heart, I think that'll be my backup. I'll have a speech ready if we just can't get the tech working, it's the way it's supposed to be.
But what are you gonna do for the people
What
that
do
are
you
supposed to
accomplish?
be
Does Canvas have a way to connect students to that? And do something
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and Chris put up the videos for this, how to do
So-
confer Zoom through Canvas.
Yeah, so the video chat we're doing like this is actually through a Canvas website.
Mhm.
Like it's all this video conferencing is through Canvas that we're
And
doing
she's
right
got
now.
a video up on how to get that set up, and one cleverly called Pandemic that I'm going to steal as a module that give instructions to students on
Right.
how to.
Do you think if the students were not on video, it was just audio, that things would go more smoothly technologically? Or is the video just chewing up so much more?
Bandwidth.
Yeah.
It's tough to say. I mean, FaceTime versus audio calls is less bandwidth, but it's a different. And then it is. I mean, think of how much less it sucks your battery.
Yeah.
But I also think about like I do love this environment because I can record it.
Yep.
And it can be subtitled for me automatically, sends me a link of what happened. Like it's ADA compliant on so many different levels. Like there's lots of things I like about
I
it.
think the ADA compliance is going out the window.
Well, we
I
can
think a
still
lot of things are
aspire.
going out the window.
Yeah, kind of with CCD.
I
We
mean,
try
honestly,
to accommodate for that,
and
the better off to be there.
I think the bottom line is, can we get the minimum across that we need to get across?
I mean, for me, the closed captioning is not just about hearing impaired students. I have a lot of ELL students that really need things to be slowed down to be able to like follow up on the debates.
So what
And
happens
so-
during a live debate?
Well, that's what I'm saying is this is great because
The students don't slow down during the live debates because an ESL student in there who's having a hard time understanding.
that's why I just started doing rebuttal redos because those students were missing so much. They were never learning clash. Everything was moving too fast for them. And it wasn't that they didn't understand the ideas and they didn't know the arguments. It was that it was too fast for them and they couldn't follow. And so they weren't getting good grades, not because they didn't understand, but because when it got to their rebuttals, the other debater was just so far beyond them, which is why we spread, right? We spread people out to do that, but to me, that's not the goal in this class. The goal is for both people to share the ideas and figure out how to compare them.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that because this is a state of emergency, and because the technology is so varied across the board, I think the minimum we should do is expect just to get these concepts across. And if the technology totally kicks out, we should have a plan in which if it just comes down to you're talking on the phone and I'm listening to you, and that's it. That's what we got.
Yeah, I mean, my backup plan is always going to be what Michael's is, which is load, even if it's an audio file, but loading it online, because again, like that's more permanent. It can be slowed down. It can be rewatched. Whereas an audio file, like there's not a record. Like there's not the depth ability that you're able to do in a phone call. I mean, sure, you and I could have a debate in a phone call, but I have to teach my students.
I have students download audio files and I still have them. Well, I mean, they record themselves on their phone. They send it to me, and I've still got them all.
Yeah.
And they had to meet in person to do that, but that was only like 4 people then that were meeting in person.
I mean, we can all take different approaches to this. And like I said, I spent a lot of time this week talking to different people, how they're doing different things. I know what I want to try. I know that it's ambitious. I wanted to share with you what it was, but like, I'm not telling anyone else how to do this. You've been doing this a long time. Like you've got things, tricks in your sleeve that I don't have. I like my cell phone. I like video chatting. I like, using Remind to text things to my students. Like, I'm a millennial and I lean into that hard.
I'm halfway between, I understand this is an emergency, so let's get through this semester. And this is an opportunity to create the way this class is taught for years to come. And getting some of the ways that this is done, the cultural parts of this, the actual technology down, is useful for everybody, especially folks who are new to teaching this course. This could be trailblazing, so I'm kind of halfway between, let's get through this semester any way we can, and this is an opportunity to set up how this course is going to be taught, not just now, but summer, fall, assuming there's a summer, fall, and so on. So, I mean, if we can make some sort of progress for how do we do this and do it right, that's helpful.
Can I ask you, Michael, you do the hybrid, so your lectures, are they real time, you're on Confer Zoom and everyone's watching you? Or
Right. So I kind of talked about this yesterday a little bit. So the hybrid, the class is face-to-face, B1 and B5, right? So this be face-to-face.
Right.
But the hybrid moves us from half face-to-face to half asynchronous content. So the content is the book plus PowerPoints plus other resource materials that they can work on their own as they see fit.
That's the way I did my
There's
hybrid
time the assignments are due, but they do it asynchronously where I'm not hovering over them.
Right.
And now the challenge for us is to go the next step, replace face-to-face with synchronous, synchronous online. So now we've moved from all face-to-face to the hybrid, which are half face-to-face and half asynchronous, and now we're being asked to move to half synchronous and half asynchronous, full online. And so the part I'm most interested in is the part that Chris has been focusing on. How do you integrate Confer Zoom, this part, the conferencing part, into Canvas, the asynchronous part, and get them to work? Because I think that's most of what we're going to be doing for years. I don't think
it's just my Confer Zoom, my assignment or sign-in hasn't been confirmed, so I may not even have it by Tuesday, which is my first day.
Right. So so I'm sympathetic to the way John's looking at it, right?
Sure.
Which is our immediate kind of focus
Right, of course,
needs
of course.
to be how do we finish the semester in a way that works for our students. But I think, there's the other piece to it, right? Which is this is an opportunity to build up the way this course is going to be taught, probably permanently. I mean, it's not going to go full asynchronous. Right, just because the teachers' unions will stop that. Once you make that move, there'll be 3 professors at Harvard that are teaching 3 million kids in a course because all of that's asynchronous, and why did they need us? But so it's not going to go asynchronous, but it is going to go half. Like the face-to-face, those will be available, but no one's going to push them, and very few kids are going to do that unless they have to. I mean, once they taste that they can get their education from their pajamas. Why are they going to haul their butts into campus? And for adjuncts, it makes a world of difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Chris isn't
No more
chewing
freeway
up
fun.
and down 99 every day. So,
No, I mean, I totally agree with you, and I think for those of you who are well above where I am, that's where you should be going. You should be trying out the technology as best as possible. For me, I can barely open up Canvas. My technology is going to be limited, and if it comes down to it, I'm saying record yourself on your phone, send it to me. That's
I just wanted to hear what
we're all with you to some extent. I don't think I don't know that there's anyone. I mean, maybe Chris, maybe Michael are ready to go, with the tech. But I think just about everyone else, and maybe them to some extent, are how the hell do we make this work? So, is that fair or?
I think that's super fair. I mean, every single time we do one of these sessions, Something has gone wrong.
Something else.
I mean, today, breakout sessions have been great for this is my 5th Zoom session this week, and breakouts have been great in every Zoom session I've done except for this one, which stresses me out because I was going to lean into them really heavily for my debate class, but maybe I won't.
No, I like your idea.
And like I said, I thought those were so amazing. I got to be here at least for those, if nothing else. Yeah.
So I wanted to show, let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you 2 more things, then we'll be done, I promise.
Hey, we're being paid, it's all right.
He's gonna
Sign
say, I don't know
up.
better
Sign up.
way. Be here, stay here. I'm thinking getting paid $5 an hour.
We got food next door.
So in I gave the form that I created for the groups. I gave that a folder direction, and now it doesn't want to open it. Just opened a second ago.
Okay.
But they all go in there as separate documents, and they are. I directed it to be. I don't want Google Drive downloaded right now. I just want to show my group discussions. They're going there. The other thing. In my email, I sent you, and I know this is unpopular, but I sent it anyway, a copy of the rubric I've been fine-tuning that I use for my debates.
Why is that unpopular? It is. I may or may not use it, but thank you for the review.
Do you access the Google Drive?
No, I don't think so.
I use Google Drive, but I think Helen and I might be the only ones in the department who do.
I don't. I saw the Google Drive, and my first thought was, how do I adapt this to a Canvas document? But
Yeah, very
it's
easily.
working.
There was a mention of a Comp5 resource pool.
There is. That's in Canvas, and I haven't been there now for a year, so I'm not exactly sure what the status of that is.
Yeah,
Nothing
it's
disappears from what it is.
Sorry, Christine.
No, don't be sorry at all. So here's the email I just sent. And like I said, I know it's hard to consider the nuances of the debate in a but it's like understanding the resolution, how well did they integrate their evidence from their cards, what was their clash like, what was their time management like.
No, I like your thing.
So anyways, I threw that up there, but I wanted to mention it lastly because every semester I change it at the end based off where their areas of weakness were.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I wish that was on my rubric. And I know there are things I'm not thinking of. So if you have any ideas for adding to this or modifying it in any way, I'd be happy to take everyone's suggestions and integrate it into this existing
I
one.
finally went very simplistic back to a very skeletal debate brief or
Like a ballot.
and it just allows me to talk about whatever I want. And if the rubric changes from one team to another, I don't care because it's the same number of points. But if one team just all had terrible delivery, I don't normally agree on delivery, but if that becomes an issue, delivery is going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But if one team, their cross-ex was stunning, but they never used it, that's going to become more of an issue. Like, oh my God, you just won the debate. Why didn't you integrate it at all? You just. But.
I mean, my thing is like a lot of the time they're reading off a paper for the constructives.
Yeah.
So it's like, delivery is not something I didn't even put it on my rubric because they're just reading for those first. And then I want not so much the delivery to be good, but the way that and like the clash is on here, impacting arguments is on here, the way they're able to take what they read in those first speeches and bring it to the next level.
Yeah, so you could adjust that for that person. It's just that clash. Well, I couldn't hear any because you never spoke very well.
Yeah.
So a couple things. I mean, I probably shouldn't admit it because it's a worse practice, but I've never had a rubric.
Right.
I approach it like a debate judge.
Of course.
And I write extensive comments to them, and then I circle a grade, and that's what it is. And no one ever argues with me just because I'm old and been doing this forever. Right. So there must have been a reason you randomly picked that grade for us. So I didn't even use rubrics. And that gives me a lot of freedom and kind of best judgment from experience at tournaments. But this rubric is the kind, and they always ask, what's the rubric? Like, how do you determine the grade? And I always give a simple answer, which is the number one thing that will decide whether you have an A or a B or a C or a D is, do you clash or do you generate clash? Are you directly answering your opponent's arguments? A lot of you won't, right? And so you got no chance of better than a C. Those of you who try, right? Or B minus, even if your arguments aren't as good, even if you aren't as prepared. And that's kind of the rubric, right, for how it works. But this rubric is the kind of thing I can point them to. So I have students who are like, anything more specific than that, I can say, there it is in Canvas. This is kind of
Just
a
look
good
at it.
overview of
Yeah.
how I understand debates, right? So you're not just trusting my judgment and experience.
So I thought this also might be a
Is that
good thing
fair?
if you're gonna
Yeah,
do.
I mean, I got a little bit more detail, but.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, if you're, one of the reasons I felt comfortable sharing it was, if you decide you are gonna do the breakout room practice debates, I think a really structured rubric like this
Yes,
would be better than just giving them a ballot.
exactly.
Like, I don't think that they, well, I know they don't know what to do with the ballot, even though we have videos and like step-by-step instructions of how to fill out a ballot and what a good sample filled out ballot looks like on Canvas. I have all of those things. They do an awful job with ballots. Like that one of the assignments was go and judge one round at a tournament, but they have to take a picture of their ballot and upload it to me to get the points.
Why do you
And-
do that to yourself? No.
Seriously, it's my students make me drink. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what
bec-
I found.
Right? Because they send me stuff, and I'm looking at what they wrote students, and you know, it is a rule now. You will get 0 points if you just write "good job, happy face." Like you get 0 points for the
People have
assignment.
done that?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding? Half the students do that. So because they see someone else doing it, and then they just think it's okay. So yeah,
I mean, for my first debate, their ballots count for almost half their grade.
That's another way to.
that
Because
is a good
I
idea.
tell them exactly what they have to listen to. I tell them exactly what I grade on. I grade half on their notes and half on their decision, and their decision is totally based on the notes. If they got crappy notes, but no, the decision could be an A because it was based only on their decision. They had bad notes, but man, their decision is based, well, the first
On those
speaker
bad
said
notes.
this, and the first speaker said this, and they said this. Their notes, they got a D, but their decision was entirely on that. Nothing else came into their decision.
I really like that a lot
So,
because that takes a level of depth and understanding that we're trying to get to.
Right.
I mean, it takes me a long time, honestly, to read through. That's the problem. But then their next debates, their ballots are really good, and I don't hardly grade them. I don't tell them that.
You don't
You
say
gotta
you're
do
doing
this,
great.
the ballots. Oh, they're really good ballots, but then I can get away with something. Sure.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
And so I like the idea of taking the picture and sending it because I can still read them. And
Yeah.
I can still grade them, and they know. And then I can just type up some comments real quickly on them, and send it back. I mean, it's a little bit more time, but.
Well, through SpeedGrader, if they're uploading them, you have a
Man,
comment
it's
box
easy.
directly to them.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, I can
speed
show you
grader,
our
trust me,
assignment.
once you get used to it, it's amazing. It's great. It's a nice little,
And I like that SpeedGrader is now when stuff comes in late, it lets me take it. It automatically does the deduction
Yeah.
because I don't feel guilty. I'm all nope.
Oh, you said
The
that
internet-
for automatic?
I did. I was all you were not on time. I warned you, and now the computer took your grade down. It wasn't me. It was the computer. I don't. Well, I feel bad when I'm like, oh, I was only an hour late, and I just started grading them. But now I'm like, I don't feel bad. I didn't turn it in on time, and Canvas noticed. So,
Wait, Michael's saying something.
Michael.
To everyone, I've been thinking about that. Oh, I thought she was saying more.
Yeah, I like it. All right, we're going to end our session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
I did record this, but I don't know how well the audio will pick up since so much of us was in the room. So I'll watch it and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just ending my phone call, but
Good ideas,
boy.
but still worried. All right.
I'm so stressed because I spent so much time going through all that stuff. And now I'm like, maybe I should make it simpler.
Well, you stressed me at yesterday's meeting when Todd is saying, hey, Zoom knows and they're ready and they assured him things are going to go well. And you said, And then at the end, like, you're right. That sounds like corporate speak for we have no idea what's going to happen.
That sounds like,
beginning
yeah.
Monday. And
well, when they're giving
These
notices
problems.
of 3 days just to confirm your account,
Yeah.
I don't care how many of their servers they're running, they're probably not
Just
paying
off
for
of
It
this.
can take up to 72 hours for us to confirm your account.
Okay.
Like,
I just saw the 1 hour, you know, if you don't
Well,
see the
and
email.
in all honesty,
Contact support.
So I,
well,
right, so yeah, so Monday, I think, I told them we're meeting face to face for the 8 weeks that are about to begin. But I told them I expect to spend that whole hour and a half getting them ready for going fully online for the rest of the 8
That's all
weeks.
I'm
So
gonna do.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm not exactly sure how that'll work out.
You're talking about your 8-week course.
My 8 weeks is beginning Monday.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing
I
too.
got 3 16 weeks, and I send them a similar email that says, we're starting the one-on-one debates. Show-offs are on Monday and Tuesday, and I told them we're gonna do them in person if we can. And, But after that, we don't know. No one knows. And so,
Yeah, for my 16-week class, it's at the end of the semester. For my 8-week classes, it'll be supposed to be in 2 weeks.
Anyone have tests or quizzes that they have coming up in Com 5? How do you deliver
Kahoot
those?
quizzes. Kahoot quizzes.
Okay.
And you can do those online too.
well, I might be. Well, I don't know quizzes. I had a midterm that I was supposed to be taken face to face this week because we
This
weren't
was
sure
midterm week
what
too,
was
so-
happening, and I told them forget it. I'm moving it back a week. But so it'll be Wednesday and Thursday of this coming week and online. And so I told them I'm not going to creeper on you to make sure you're not cheating. So now it's open book, open note, collaborate with anyone you want, and you've got 4 days to take it.
You're gonna deliver that to them and then they can send
It'll
it.
be online, just
Okay.
online in the Canvas website. It'll be 50 questions, true, false, multiple, which is what it is in person anyway, right? But now it'll be online. They got 4 days to do it, and they can use their notes and their books. And
Yeah, their deduction test, I'm handing out Monday, but they have to take pictures of it and send it to me.
pictures and that.
I have to look at their answers.
Right.
It's not scanned, tronable,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but
Yep.
that's always a take home anyway. But
yeah.
all my other quizzes are on.
Take home's the other option, but I don't know how I deliver them to them now. I mean, I can as an email attachment, but then they start to print it out.
Well, that's where you would do
That's what all of math is doing, though. Math is assigning
Yeah.
homework, and you have to work out the math. So you print it from Canvas at home and then take a picture of it. That's what they're
They always have
doing.
it printed out themselves.
Yeah, they've always done that.
That's never been a problem. I mean, I've never had students complain about that.
There hasn't been a single class where I don't have 6 or 7 students. I don't have a printer, or the printer
Oh, yeah, me
isn't
too.
available, or some other issue.
And normally it's like at the high school and the job spot, they'll do all that for them. But now they're not going to have that. So it's going to
This
be.
one, because it's worth so many points, the students printed it. For little ones, yeah, but this one is worth 100
Okay,
points.
well, yeah, they got it. All right.
Yeah, so,
So John, do you have your assignments on Canvas? And
Yeah.
can I show you SpeedGrader really quick?
yeah, I've got quizzes, well,
So when you click on the assignment, SpeedGrader's in the right.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
I just don't think this went as well as I'd hoped it would.
so this class,
I'm very frustrated.
No, look, as frustrated as you are, right, you're ahead of the rest of us. I don't know everybody, but you're certainly ahead of me about what to do this. And this helps me think through what I can and
And it
can't
will
do.
tell you up here like
And how to use the tech,
break
so.
it out of.
Well, and I'm starting a new class with a new group, and I just don't know what their capabilities are going to be.
this person's dropped.
But I do know the language barrier is going to be an issue more than technology.
The comment box.
That
I feel the same way here.
And then
I'm on a
once you
16-week class,
type in
we're
your
halfway
comments,
through,
you press submit,
Yeah.
and
and they will get them.
everything's
They have
gonna be
to
an
click on
accommodation
comments on
because
there.
you
That's
Everything.
the other part.
they didn't sign up
So
for it.
this doesn't,
Okay,
this doesn't break then.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
that's just a comment.
I
Oh,
think
it will.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
one
yeah,
part,
you put in the
we're
points.
gonna need to
If
be
there
done with
was
our students, and we're all
something
here,
here,
and
you're putting in the points
So-
here,
so
and you can comment.
this is a
This
prediction.
one, this was a very
This summer,
good-
the governor will sign emergency
And then you submit it,
appropriations to
and
get a
it will
reasonably
be
good
revised.
computer in the hands of every college student in the state.
I don't see
Well,
why that would be a bad thing.
I didn't give it back.
Well, you
I'm
know-
not saying it would be, I'm just saying.
But I'm saying.
I mean,
that'll happen.
there's all these interesting things because
They've uploaded it, so you already-
when they did Chromebooks in all the high schools, I was in a meeting where they talked about like,
It's still not one-to-one.
right, well, but it was my kids' school, they have enough Chromebooks for every kid at the school. And so I was in a conversation where someone said from the technology office said, well, if something ever happened, a shooting or something terrible, we could send computers home with each of those kids so they could take some time but still keep up their learning.
Oh.
I predict that not a single one of those computers will leave the campuses.
Yeah.
Well, here's
Mine would
the
be
reason I
so
went for the
small,
current high school
not
district.
55, but public speaking,
They can't log
that-
into the current high school district from office.
And I
Really?
spent
Because
hours
my
putting
kids
it
are
on those
BCSD and they can log in
two
remotely.
That's a different deal.
Interesting.
You have to be on campus to be able to log into the building.
You're still
Interesting.
They could log into
Yeah.
Their teacher's Google Classroom.
Drive and then the classroom.
So, yeah.
Right,
inside.
right.
That's why it's that. I mean, all my.
Firewalls.
Are they, yeah.
So that-
Every, like, as Fabiola and I both teach concurrent enrollment at current high schools, and they had to make us special accounts to be able to show, like, our YouTube videos.
Okay.
Like, it's nuts what we've had to go through just to be able to, like, I show death by PowerPoint in my B1 class, and it's blocked by the firewall because it has the word death in it.
We experience that with
Really?
kids that will show up and they can't get logged in with their devices.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, in fact, I got so frustrated. Well, I'm teaching in a less than ideal classroom where I take my laptop and my clicker and a projector and a stand to put it on. I take it all. I have a big bag. I take all of it with me. I take it all with me. I'm not messing around because I can't trust the room. The room is so bad.
That's what they need to make that, like a classroom in a backpack.
Seriously, they do.
Of course, I'll make a lot of
What do
money.
you think I do already?
But you know, the other thing is,
It's the old Al Franken.
It's my life. My classroom is still like that.
but you know what? Now that I've taught in all these other places, our fine arts building is crappy, you guys. Our computers are slow, or like all of it's
We
awful.
bought them ourselves 10 years ago.
Yeah,
These
I'm
are
like, man.
Pro-Magnet computers we have in our building.
Yeah, they're no bueno.
No.
I was like, I had no idea because I'm always at the rural communities, and all of our stuff is stayed like the job spots, like brand new Mac
Our
computers
office
with the
computers
extra
came-
large display.
Our
Looks-
office computers we bought as a department out of foundation funds at the same time, and it's painful to work on my office computer. I come from
Yeah,
home.
I can't
where
imagine.
This is the way I want it, and I get an office computer. Give me an abacus.
Michael, I'm living
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you,
Facebook
guys.
does my.
I'm gonna go down the hallway.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Glenn. It was so nice to meet you face to face.
Well, I'll live through until summer, and then when I get money from my summer school class, I'll get it. And all of this
So much
happens.
trash.
I need some
Fabiola,
to
she's
work,
saying-
so I gotta.
Take care, man.
Nice. All right.
I am just so bummed, you guys.
No, it may,
There's no reason to
may
be
come
bummed.
back,
I know it didn't
yeah.
go the way you wanted it to go, but I think I got what I needed out of this.
Yep, so did I.
As an introduction to the tech, and we worked through some ideas. So thank you.
But I think that I think I'm overly ambitious. I think talking to all these people, which was super fun, made me more excited to do all this stuff that maybe my students aren't ready to do.
That mean, I would not, no, just because things didn't go.
That's true. Y'all aren't in my remind.com. My students respond to my remind messages like this. They're like on it. They're like, I'm like, would you like to do this or this? And then they all, I send a little poll. My husband's all, how many respond? I'm like, 20 out of 30. We're going to go with that. Yeah, they're really great on reminds.
I'm
Good
going down
luck,
the
you all.
hallway and see
Yeah, I'm
if
gonna go down there in a sec, too.
I got some grading to do to finish up the ages.
Yeah,
Oh, I did that.
see you on Monday.
I know, I'm done. I just need to upload my grades.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
I
I have that
Oh, for your 8-week
Like-
classes?
Mm-hmm.
48-hour sizzling time for everybody checking, and so I check my people, right, and see when they looked at the grades.
Well, the 8-week classes, you've got till the end of the semester.
Really?
They don't roll them.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
But I thought they still looked at when we input
No.
them. Really?
No.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
Because
they're
I
gonna.
tried, I was worried about last semester and,
Right.
in October tournament, nothing happened.
No. See, because I tell them, yeah, you won't see it
Well,
roll
it's one less thing to
today,
worry about.
sorry, but.
So it doesn't roll, so if you don't,
Okay.
I just tell them your grade's gonna be on campus, you won't see it anywhere until the end because it doesn't roll.
Question.
yes.
I'm gonna basically be spending the rest of today getting stuff ready for Monday and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be in the realm of possibility to meet up tomorrow at all, just to kind of double check on things, make sure I have
I don't know yet because I already committed to do 3 Zooms with other people to help them. So, and one of them's a 3-hour Zoom with Sarah Barron to help her with the public health workshop that she's doing. She's going live in her president's office in Oregon.
Right, well, here's the thing, even if it's not tomorrow, hi, I'm on spring break, I'll actually be around on Tuesday, if that would be, I don't know. I mean, my thought is, I just wanna do it, and then, because some of this is new to me, but other parts of it, I know I'm fine.
Yeah.
It'd be,
Text me, bug me. You know what I mean?
yeah, I just feel like I do as it is anyway.
No, and just I am running on fumes,
No kidding.
and now I'm like reevaluating whether I should take some of this stuff down.
In all honesty, here's the thing, this room, was this the second session you did in this room?
Yeah, the first session did not go like this.
Well,
I would say leave it up, tell your students it may work, and then you'll immediately go to backup.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't take it down, because
No, I'm just thinking if it was stressful for us, I don't want to overwhelm them.
nah,
But I guess I can start by overwhelming them if it's too much. Scale back. That's true.
exactly.
or
And
just do something really simple, and if the breakout rooms don't work, just say, okay, so here's what we're gonna do instead. I'm just announcing these 5 people, or, you know.
Is your OER somewhere online? I was looking for it last night.
Like what we are.
Your online textbook that you wrote.
Oh, no, it's not, it's published through Kendall Hunt, and they only sell it online.
Oh,
So it's not,
got it.
it's not an online book that you can access.
Yes. So that's what I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. I was going nuts last night. Like,
Yeah,
I want to see John's book. I don't know. So that's a lot. You know what I've been wanting to do all of this? It was so funny. My husband's so cute. He brought home all of his dry erase boards from his math class, and so I had dry erase boards everywhere of like, here's what I'd like to do with this, and then on the other side, here's what I'm doing now, and I'm like, here's the 8 things I do for my class currently, and then here's a list of what I want to do, and my husband's like, they don't match up. I need to match up more. So I had like 6 different color pins. He was like, you are a crazy person. But I need to see things like on a board.
Did he like bring them home and bring them home?
Well, yeah, they're like this big. His students use them to do math problems, and so he brought them home for me so I could have multiple pages that I was writing on and kind of line them up. I know
Well,
it's weird, but
No, sorry, this is what I'm thinking. You know that dry erase board that's in the office?
Yeah.
I use that to help me out with,
you should just take that shit home.
I can't, it's attached to the wall.
No, it's not. It was just leaning there. Did they actually attach it?
No, the one I've been using is actually attached to the wall. The one that's just leaning, it disappeared weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
your husband came back.
You didn't take that one. I would know.
Yes, trust me, it was big
Thanks
enough
for coming, John. I appreciate it.
yeah.
And I really think this was good though, in the sense that everyone in the room is experienced, but at different levels of technology. And so honestly, that was really a moment for me today when you were talking about how much weight you put into their first flow and ballot, because that's another way to see if they understand Clash and the big picture. I mean, they have to be able to.
So that debate assignment takes me like 2 weeks.
No, I was just closing it out.
Just wanted to say that we are, Jessica emailed me this and I responded, but just so you know, faculty who were present via Zoom, if we want to get them paid, we need to get their name and their @ number from Jessica sent to Pam.
Really? Okay, so Pam.
Go get it to Pam
Okay.
from Jessica though, so she can vet that and we'll get them paid.
Yeah, this session
Because
was
we've
nice
got
because there was
some-
only one person logged in remotely. Everyone else was in the room. The previous session had 8 people that were logged in, so I've been here for a while.
Good practice. Yeah, Matt has been talking for 5.5 hours without sitting down, without taking a break. That
God
dude.
bless that man.
Bladder of steel.
Seriously.
We don't know. He might be wearing astronaut diapers. We're not sure.
We're not sure.
We're not going to
Could
ask
be
either.
happening. This is not the right moment to ask that
But
question.
I'm told it's never the right moment to ask Matt that question because he'll